fun. Hi everybody, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here with another episode for the Fix This Band series. The first one got a really strong reaction. The next day I woke up to a whole bunch of comments. And a lot of them were overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people saying, I love the idea for this series. You know, we're going to learn a lot from watching these bands and having you critique them. But I had a couple of other comments that weren't so positive, people calling me out. They're just like, you know, how dare you make fun of these bands and who are you to do this? But I just want everyone to understand that this is not for me to make fun of these bands, even though I want this to be entertaining. I really just want to point things out so that we can all learn from other people's mistakes, including my own. My next episode is going to be my old band when we were teenagers playing one of our first concerts ever. So keep an eye out for that one. It should be pretty embarrassing for me and the boys. But, you know, as long as it's educational, I guess it's worth it. So today we have a doozy. Somebody sent me this clip of a band playing Sweet Child of Mine. The singer, when he sings, you could tell he's not a native English speaker. And I really respect that because I only speak one language. The only lyrics I know in another language is probably Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? I can't even say it. Okay, you guys ready? Let's do it. Okay, so it's kind of funny because the intro is sounding really good. The guitar player's doing the lick real smooth, you know, the intro lick. And you can hear the crowd actually cheering a little bit. They're excited because they're like, oh, that guy's playing this really well. And then the song is about to kick in and all of a sudden it just sounds so hollow. A lot of this has to do with the sound tech. So all you really hear is the big rhythm guitar clean chord come in and it's out of tune. And the buildup is off time. You could hear everybody's kind of trying to figure it out. So right away, a really good intro got ruined by the rest of the band coming in so clunkily, if you will. Okay, before we get to the vocals now, did you notice that the singer who's playing rhythm guitar, he just stopped playing after he hit those beginning chords. He just stops and he's like grooving to the beat. And then it's almost like he realized he was supposed to be playing. So he starts up in a very bizarre place. If you notice, he's playing bar chords in this spot. But if you were just to play open chords and if he was in tune, it'd be way better at this point. We'll talk more about that at the end when I talk about solutions to all these problems. Now that everybody's playing in the band, you could tell that you can't hear the lead guitar player, and he's doing the most important part right now. And the sound tech, you could tell he's trying to turn up the bass, he's trying to figure things out. So really that whole part just sounded so janky. Okay, let's get to the vocal part. Just kind of brace yourself, okay? Here we go. Okay, so lots of issues going on. So right away, you know, I have to give it up to him for really going for it. You know what I mean? He wasn't being shy at all. So he just launches into it. He is singing way beyond his range. So you could tell he just goes right up there trying to do old school Axl Rose. It's not easy. That creates this real shrill sound coming out. And I just wonder if I could see the faces of the audience change from that intro to when he starts singing. That must have been quite the difference. He's also doing a major no-no. A lot of sound techs will just lose their minds if a singer grabs the microphone up by where you're supposed to be singing. He's cupping it with two hands and then he's just going to town singing super loud. And so this causes all sorts of feedback problems. You could hear it starting to feed back. So on top of the bad singing, it's super loud. By the way, it amplifies the volume of his voice as well. If he just stayed back at a decent distance and did the same thing, it wouldn't be nearly as jarring, even though it would still be kind of jarring. And then another thing is he started the song on the wrong lyrics. So he actually started on verse 2 instead of starting on verse 1. So that happens to a lot of singers, but it's how you adjust that matters. And we'll talk more about that at the end. But I thought that was kind of funny. All right, let's keep going into the chorus here. Okay, a few more things I kind of forgot about. So he realizes that he's singing way too high. And it makes me wonder, is this the first time you've tried singing it? All of a sudden, he realizes it's just going to be way too crazy to sing the song that high the entire time. So he does a good thing. He drops it down an octave, which is very smart. But that's still in an uncomfortable place for him to sing as well. I'm sure his range is somewhere in the middle, where he's comfortable. So he goes from the extreme high to the extreme low, and it's just creating this train wreck effect. Also, while he's singing, he just stops playing guitar again. So that doesn't really surprise me because you could kind of tell he's barely hanging on when he's singing or playing guitar. Imagine him doing both at the same time. That is way too much to ask for someone like him at his level. And by the way, this entire time now, you still can't hear that poor lead guitar player who looks like he's playing his heart out over there, and he's actually really good. This is fun. You see somebody realize that you can't hear the lead guitar. So somebody alerted them, or it's the sound tech or somebody, and they try to fix something, but they go behind the amp and they actually go to where the drummer is for some reason and mess around with something. And then the guy who went behind by the drum set starts to leave. Obviously he didn't fix the guitar problem. So another guy comes up, I'm guessing that's the actual sound tech, and they go up to the speaker and they try to adjust the microphone, and he moves it like an inch and then walks away. And I thought, that's not going to fix anything. That is not the problem right there. Okay, finally. So you could tell someone's yelling at him. The guy's like, what? Points at the amp, goes down by where the microphone is finally, and he grabs it and he speaks into it to see if it's actually working. So now they're on the right track. So they probably realize that the microphone is not working, and let's see what they do next here. Okay, so the guy goes up to where the vocal mic is in front of the guitar player, and this is a good idea. Use a different mic that's already live on stage and just put it in front of the amplifier. So he goes up and grabs the microphone on the stand, and he does something else that sound techs will hate you for. He just yanks it down. He doesn't loosen it and bring it down. He just yanks it down, and a lot of people do this. That's a really great way to strip out your stands really quick, so that's really annoying. And then he brings it over to the amp, and it looks like, I could be wrong because it's kind of blurry, but it looks like he puts the microphone right in between the two speakers of the amplifier. I've heard of putting a microphone in between toms. If you don't have enough microphones to mic up your whole kit, you could do that. But I've never seen someone actually put a microphone in between two speakers. It's always choose one or the other. You want that direct sound. But whatever. And then on top of everything going on, the guitar player's strap comes undone, and you could see the guitar almost fall to the ground. And I kept thinking, man, if I was this kid and my guitar did that and it actually fell to the ground, I would just leave it and walk home. It would just be like, this is not my day. That's it. As the guy's walking away, that's right where the lead's supposed to kick in, towards the end of the song. And I thought, that would have been perfect timing if right at that moment the lead guitar kicks in. I feel like the whole place would have went nuts, But instead, we have the rhythm guitar player / singer playing these huge bar chord Beatle chords, with clean tone. So that's just taking up all the sound right now. You still can't hear that lead guitar player, even though that would have been awesome if it would have kicked in right there. There we go. All right, he's doing okay on the lead. That's a tricky part, but I kept thinking in my head, man, if this kid just had a wah pedal, everything would have been so much better because right now he's kind of trying to hack his way through some parts, even though he's pretty good. If he had a wah pedal, it would sound so much better right now because he would cover up a lot of the mistakes and it would sound way more authentic to what Slash actually does. Real quick, I'll show you that lick with a wah pedal. So he kind of does what I used to do, which is kind of fake your way through the lick. But if you break it down, it's a lot more playable than you might think. So here's without the wah real quick. Now let's add the wah pedal. So just adding the wah pedal adds like a level of excitement to that lick. Even if you don't play it completely right, like he was just kind of shredding something, that wah pedal would have made all the difference, I think. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Something really interesting happened right there. I don't know what it is, but there's that "where do we go" part. And you could tell the bass player is singing that. You can't really see it now because I blurred out his face. But when you watch the original video, you could see him going, "Where do we go now?" And the first couple times he does it, you can't really hear him. And all of a sudden you hear this scary robot distorted voice doing it. That freaked me out the first time I heard it, but it sounds like a talk box effect or something. Really strange. All right, we're almost to the end here. Okay, that's where the cameraman, I think, finally just said enough, and he just hit stop. By the way, I love how the video ends on the two players that don't get nearly enough credit in this song. The bass player is killing it in a good way. If you really listen, he's playing all the bass line parts. And the drummer, he's solid back there. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. There's a couple things we'll talk about a little bit that he could have done a little differently, but for the most part, the rhythm section of this band is solid. Okay, so let's take a breather here for a second, and then we're going to talk about the solutions that could have made this so much better. The first thing is kind of a bummer because it has to do with the sound tech. And when you're in a band and you don't have your own personal sound engineer, you're at their mercy, basically. So you could hear a lot of mistakes in the beginning. The bass guitar wasn't turned up. The microphone on the lead guitar player's amp wasn't working. Just a lot of weird things just all over the place. And I thought, if this band could have just had a sound check, that could have taken care of a lot of problems. It doesn't mean you're not going to have any issues. Even with an elaborate sound check, things still go wrong. But it really reduces the chances of something catastrophic happening. So I already talked about the singer. He's the main problem in this group right now, with the singer rhythm guitar player. So first of all, choosing a song that's more fitting for your voice or transposing the song so it fits your voice a little bit better. That would have made a big difference, even though it really sounds like just the tone of his voice isn't going to cut it for this band. But it would have made it a lot more pleasing to the audience if he was singing in a comfortable key. But my recommendation, if I was in this band, would be for him to just play rhythm guitar and hire a different singer if they're going to be doing songs like Sweet Child of Mine or anything that needs an extended range like that. Just get somebody who's more natural at singing that way. And then he would really need to work on his technique. He has a really awkward strumming pattern that he had going on where he stopped a lot and then did some weird double downstroke type thing. If you were to just play open chords like I suggested and did a more fitting strum pattern, it would have flowed way better. And then at the end, he was playing those big Beatles bar chords, play the power chords like you're supposed to, and then use distortion. So he needs like a distortion pedal or something to go from clean to overdrive. Let's get back to the drummer a little bit. Like I said, he's really solid and you could tell he's really getting into it. So I felt really bad for him because he's doing such a great job and everything else is kind of falling apart. But in the beginning, when he's doing those hits, it would be really helpful if you could keep something going like a hi-hat or something, just some kind of count so the band knows where you're at. somebody in this band has to move around a little bit. I would nominate the bass player because he seems the most comfortable with his instrument. Coming in with the wrong lyrics is very common, and at least he didn't have like a, an iPad in front of him or anything like that, so I respect that. But I love using a trick where you tell yourself a story and you memorize key phrases to remember the order of lyrics. So in this tune, I would have thought smile, face, eyes, and hair in that order. I would have burned that into my mind. Because if you think of the lyrics to Sweet Child of Mine, he starts right off with, she's got a smile, that it seems to me. So that's the first thing you would think of. And all the other lyrics would come to you most likely if you've studied the song, if you just remember smile as your key phrase. Then face, now and then when I see her face, that'd be the second part. Then you have eyes. She's got eyes of the bluest skies, that part. And then hair would be last. Her hair reminds me of a warm, safe place. So it's kind of cool if you have one key phrase, sometimes all the other lyrics will just come to you. And you'll do them in the correct order, unlike what he did. And the last thing I think this band needs is just some more time to mature as a group. You could tell they're, young guys, they haven't been playing very long, and then together for even less time. So it just has this real uncongealed sort of vibe going on. And when I highlight my band on the next episode of this series, you're going to hear that 1,000% in that too. You just need time to make all the mistakes, fix them, make a few more mistakes, fix them. And over time, you just learn how to vibe with each other, and you know what the drummer's going to do on this part, you know how this part's coming in. And so even if chaos is going on, chaos is ensuing, you could still keep it together because you've been through the storm so many times. And unfortunately for this band, I really think they have to make some personnel choices for this band to really get to the next level. The three guys, in the rhythm section and the lead guitar player, they have a lot of promise. I could see them going really far together. Maybe they did. I don't know. I'll do some research on that. But the singer is just kind of, he's just like this hurricane in the middle that's just causing all the problems, besides the sound tech having issues. But if the singer stepped aside and just focused on the guitar, like I said earlier, and brought in a different singer, I think this could be a whole different band. Thank you everyone for watching this video and for watching the first episode as well. I'll keep them going because I'm having a lot of fun doing this. We'll see you at the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.